cheer. Now it's time to roll the barrel for the gangs all year.
You should have gotten the barrel when you was over there the other night. Then you'd know what it feels like.
Yeah.
You know, just to be locked into it.
What is it like?
If you can control the locked-in feeling, why, it's not too bad. But the claustrophobia gets a hold of you, you know, and I get that, you know. But it was an experience. The biggest experience of all was the guys that I got involved with. They're all good guys. I had a lot of fun with them, eh?
Yeah.
You know, we've had more fun since than ever, you know, with the gang of fellows that was involved. No, I remember the truck backing up, eh? And I could hear these guys talking. Neil was riding in the back of the truck, and so was this other Neil. And I could hear them talking, you know, I could hear them talking. And when I felt the truck back up, I knew we were there. And then I started to
Then they dropped it.
Yeah, oh, yeah, they dropped. I come out and fell, eh? And Ross says, "You're not going." He says, "You're not going." I thought, oh, God, if I got... It would have been worse to get out of that barrel on the sidewalk than...
That's worse than going over the fall.
You know what he said?
What's that?
This guy here said, "Jesus Christ, don't just stand there, give us a hand." Everybody ran over and picked him up.
They never thought you had it.
Yeah, I think the power that's there is the danger, eh?
Yeah.
It's so powerful, you know. I never knew how powerful it was till one day I went down in the tunnel about 2 weeks before, eh? And then it boggled my mind. Just boy, you walk behind that falls. It has to just boggle your mind, you know. When you look out those portholes, you see that water in there, but it's something to see. You know? Then you know the power. But, you know. But looking from the top of Niagara Falls, it don't do it justice.
Yeah.
To me, it doesn't do justice. But go down in the bottom, that's where you see
Scared the hell out of you.
it does. But the thundering, and the earth is shaking and pounding, and, you know.
The first time I ever met Dave is when I pulled his barrel ashore and took him out above the falls. The first time he tried to make the trip.
How was he after not getting over it?
He was a little bit mad. He wanted me to close the hatch of the barrel and push him out in the river. And I told him, I said, "We can't." I said, "They've dropped the water so low in the upper river that you're aground now." And I said, "We got the police here and you got to come out."
200,000, yeah, that's what the police officer told me that morning. They took me into the shop there, and we were sitting there talking, and he said it just cost Ontario Hydrophone, and they told me it cost 200,000 to try and flush me out of there.
How did that make you feel?
Well, I was hoping they wouldn't charge me the $200,000. You know, I was hoping that's for sure. Well, other than that, no, it didn't bother me.
I was really surprised at meeting this fellow, how calm he was, and how yet, even after the event that he got trapped by the police and someone had squealed on him, how he sort of was naive. It was like he wanted to go over the falls, but he had no, as he said earlier, he had no real idea just what was involved and how serious the Parks police were in trying to stop him.
I didn't know they could do that. No idea, you know. I didn't know they could shut that water off in the river the way they can. It amazed me how fast they shut it down.
Niagara Falls don't think of beer.
Dave didn't get any great publicity out of it because he got in a conflict with the Blue Jays in their race for the pennant and possibility of going to the World Series, and he was pushed right off the pages. Well, the old-timers had a certain mystique to them. It was much more difficult to go over the falls. For instance, when Annie Taylor went over in 1901, and she could see daylight between the staves of the oaken barrel. And so she had to spend time stuffing cotton to make it watertight. And the barrel survived the trip over the falls, and Annie lived. And then later when Bobby Leach went over, he went over in a steel barrel. And Leach wasn't sufficiently padded inside, and he suffered a number of injuries. And then a man by the name of Charles Stevens tried it in the mid-1920s. And
when he went over it, he tied the animal to his feet.
That, you know, that's being bright. You fasten it to your feet, you go over the falls, the bottom, the barrel stops, and you keep on it going. So he got himself killed because he didn't use his brains. He didn't plan his trip. Then they turned around, you got Stathicus, the Greek chef. When he went over the falls, what did he do? He built a barrel. Well, if you want to go down to the Rapids elevator, you can take a look at it. 1,000 and some odd pounds, and it's got plank on it that's about 4 inches thick. Now, as far as him hitting the rocks and bruising himself, there's no chance. But when he got caught on the rocks, he couldn't get out. So he stayed behind till he suffocated.
Jean Lucier, he was the first person really to think it out, and he had a special barrel design that was rubber on the outside and completely made of course inner tubes on the inside, and so he floated on top of the water, and he made really a very, very easy trip over the falls. And then the next one was William Red Hill Jr.
Red Hill went over in a bunch of tubes that if you wet them and piled one on top of the other, 13 tubes, you couldn't make them stay together.
Well, I knew he wouldn't make it because I seen the type of barrel he had, and I'd been around the river all my life, and I knew it was just impossible for him to make it. I wouldn't help him.
No.
And as it ended up, I was right about my predicament. He never made it.
Were you there the day he died?
I was right down here in the Maid to Miss Docks, and I watched the barrel and the pieces of the barrel come out below the falls.
This person is Bill Fitzgerald, who used the name Nathan Boya, and he walked away from the trip.
But the rest of them is, you know, you have to know what you're doing and plan your trip. Sushek made a good barrel.
Okay.
He survived. The smart one survived, and outside his trotter. You know, God had him right by the ass of the pants.
Roll out the barrel, we'll have a barrel of fun. Roll out the barrel, we've got the blues on the run. Sing boom terrera, ring out a song of good cheer. Now it's time to roll the barrel, for the gang's all here.
I guess it's the same reason why people want to climb mountains. Mountains are there, they want to climb them. Rapids are there, they want to see if they can go through them and live. Same thing. The falls is there, and he just wanted to conquer it.
I've never spoken to Dave. All I know is what has been written about him, but it would appear that his motive was involved a personal obsession that he had to go over the falls, and that he wasn't interested in what we would call fame or certainly fortune. And of all the others who've gone over, except for Bill Fitzgerald, who was Nathan Boya too, they were all interested certainly in the money aspect. And so the two of them, Fitzgerald and Munday, stand out.
Anybody can do that, go to Niagara Falls.
So what do you,
What do you mean by
bravery, or
jump?
does it take?
No, don't take nothing. Just get
You
in
mean
it
go
and
over the falls in the barrel?
Yeah. No, just get in it and go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was the motivating factor then? Like why bother if it's actually?
No, I was going to do it long time ago. Long time ago, I was going to do this. 25 years ago. You know, I'm running out of time. I'm getting too old, eh?
Well, how old were you 25 years ago? Approximately now.
Just strike for it, no. Come on.
23.
No, I'd be around 22, 23 when I was going to do it. I was in good shape then. I am not today.
And you decided to go as well.
Yeah.
So what made you decide then that you want?
Then?
Yeah.
Oh, I would do anything in them days. I would do anything in them days. Well, we built a good piece of equipment, eh?
Yeah.
You know, this is the thing. We built something that would do the job. Well, the only thing I was afraid of was drowning, eh? But then after we floated, I knew we weren't going to drown.
Yeah. I heard today that you have a fear of water.
Oh, yeah, I'm terrified of it, yeah. But then we tested Ed and all the guys come out to the river just over here in Dunban. We tested it, and we seen then it would never sink.
Yeah.
Never sink it.
What about?
Boy, I'm confident in that thing.
What about like rocks?
Rocks?
Yeah.
Oh, I
Is there
don't
not
know.
rocks at the bottom of the falls?
Oh, yeah, there's rocks down there, yeah. I don't know what would happen. What would happen, Ken, if we hit rocks?
We'll get right.
Oh, listen.
He went right over on top of the rocks. I don't know how that man ever survived without having, the barrel never even got damaged. Where Dave Munday went over, he went over right close to the Canadian side, and it's solid rock. I've seen these ice booms they have across Lake Erie to keep the ice up there. Now they're about 24 inches square, 20 feet long, BC fir. I've watched them come over the same place. When they come out like matchwood, smashed all to pieces. And I think he was an awful lucky guy. Just had to hit right, that's all. 1 in a million chances.
And I happened to turn the radio on. And as I was sitting here, the radio announcer come over with a statement that it would appear somebody had gone over the falls in a barrel. And that's the exact moment that I knew for sure it was him.
One day we're sitting there and I just said, we're going to go over Niagara Falls. Yeah, that's how it was.
Why, at work? Or?
Yeah, at work, yeah. I said, let's go.
What about in the future? Are you planning dangerous things in the
Oh,
future?
we got a few things, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got something coming up soon.
So why all of a sudden do you want to do dangerous things?
Well, once you do it, then people keep aggravating you into it more, right? They keep pulling you into it more all the time.
Can you give us an example?
Well, like Associated Press, I phoned up and said I didn't have enough.
I can't hear you.
Associated Press said I never had enough nerve to do it the old way, you know.
What's the old way?
Go over in a wooden barrel, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's what they said. Said I never had enough nerve to do it the old way. I have got enough nerve to do it the old way.
But I'm not gonna damn well let you
So now
do
you got to prove it to Associated Press?
No,
Probably.
the old way.
Well, you get more people, how can I say that? You probably get more people making fun of you, eh? You know, and hoping that you keep doing something until you get killed. That's what they do really, you know. They just keep.
What does that mean to you?
Well, you just prove that it can be done without getting killed.
Yeah.
You know, this is a thing that I find, but.
Wouldn't it be simpler and less dangerous just to stop?
Probably it would be, yeah. Probably it would be. But then, could you live with yourself if somebody said you couldn't do it, you know? And they almost say you're scared to do it. I wouldn't like to do Niagara Falls again, but there's people pressing me on that, you know? I talked to Dave Munday the other night when you seen him over there, and he said, no, never do it again. And Ken Sloggett says, never do it again, you know? But we don't know yet, maybe. That's about it. That's about it.